has changed. His pattern has transformed. Marlo must be protected. We must assimilate Marlo's pattern into our own. is close to the beginning. There is damage to the pattern.
That they have forgotten. Here do we toil.
This artifact
that we might remember.
smells
By night
of
we
the
recline.
Iraq.
What
It
by day
is
was
a
shown.
blemish on the pattern.
Far from ourselves. Far from ourselves. He grows ever near to us.
Our eyes once were blinded. Now through him do we see.
Our hands once were idle.
Welcome, dear viewers, to CouchWarriorTV on YouTube. I'm the Couch Warrior, and you are watching ASHES2, Shadeling Story.
The idle mind sleeps.
So let's talk a little bit about where we are. And first of all, let me start also by offering a very big and heartfelt thank you to all the patrons of CouchWarriorTV. You all are helping me reach my goal. My goal, of course, currently to find a way to be able to invest more time in this channel. And that has to do, of course, for those of you who are apt to listen to my channel updates, getting rid of the part-time job and devoting that time to the channel, to doing live streams and more videos like this, and more interaction with you all. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, please go out to the Patreon page. Go to patreon.charactercrusade.com. Take a look at what's out there. There are many different levels that you can contribute.
They serve the best sujama I've ever tasted over the wretched neck.
If you are watching this video and you are not a contributor to Patreon, that means that we've gotten far enough along in the story's progression that this video has been published. If you are interested at all in supporting Couch Warrior TV, there's a lot of different levels you can contribute at with various benefits. But to get access to this story in real time as the episodes are published, it only takes $1. $1 a month. $1 a month gets you access to ASHES2. So let's take a moment while we're here to talk a little bit about what's going on. So, we saw in the intro, something interesting happened. Shadeling referred to something called assimilation. And what we have learned over the course of several episodes of ASHES2 is that Shadeling's power is an ever-evolving thing, and we never quite know what is going to happen next. But what he did is he performed something, an actual manipulation of the pattern itself. Now, what we've seen him do previously is he's located blemishes in the pattern and made repairs to them. We've seen him be able to visualize the pattern and divine things from that information in certain situations. But what we saw at the beginning of this was something he called assimilation. And I won't explain every aspect of it, but what I can tell you is it was a direct manipulation of the pattern by Shadeling. What he basically did is he noted the pattern surrounding Marl acknowledged that Marl's pattern had changed in a significant way, in an important way, and we can associate this change in the overall pattern of Aetherius to Marl's becoming the Dragonborn. But not only that, Marl's essential pattern itself changed. And we saw Shadeling do something he referred to as assimilating Marl's pattern. And essentially what he did is he took on the ethereal pattern of Marl. He still looks like the Shadeling, but there's something embedded in his ethereal signature that portrays the Dragonborn. And we'll see this is important coming up. Let's deal with this. Alright, we've not fought these before. Let's see what happens. Interesting. They do not seem phased. Okay, let me turn my HUD back on here. I had turned the HUD off earlier so that we could do a little bit of screen capture. Gotcha.
Thanks. I wasn't sure I'd make it off this farm alive. I wish I could have said the same for my man here.
What are these creatures? These creatures are made of the ash itself. I am not made of ash. I am made by ash. Are you well?
Thanks. I wasn't sure I'd make it off this farm alive. I wish I could have said the same for my man here.
What are these things?
Some of the Redoran Guard have taken to calling them ash spawn. Me, I don't care what they're called. All I know is they're a danger to Raven Rock and they need to be stopped.
Why did that bring you to this location?
I was going to search for clues that might lead me to wherever they're coming from. I know it isn't the best place to start, but we know they've been coming from this direction.
We understand the ash. Perhaps we can help.
Good. I can use all the help I can get. Besides, I don't feel comfortable leaving Raven Rock behind, and I'd hate to lose any more Redoran Guard.
What can I do to assist?
We were searching the farm when the ash spawn ambushed us. Have a look around and see if you can turn up anything useful.
Very well. Do you know Mirak?
I might know someone, or maybe not. I can't remember.
Are you sure?
I can't. I just can't be sure. I think maybe he had something to do with a temple. A temple here on the island. Does that help?
We are
Report
grateful.
back to me if you discover anything unusual.
This man has been unmade. These creatures are born of the ash. Marl would be intrigued. We will take a sample for Marl. is the product of Red Mountain. Lorcan particles. Marl would approve. Where is the Dunmer? We found a
You
note.
found something. This is strange. The note says it's from General Falks Carius, but that's impossible.
Nothing is impossible. Why do you say this?
Well, Carius was the Imperial garrison commander at Fort Frostmoth, but he died over 200 years ago when the Red Mountain leveled the place. There's no way he could still be alive.
I believe you are mistaken. Would you like me to investigate?
If General Carius is still alive, there must be something keeping him that way. I need you to head out to Fort Frostmoth and check it out. I'm gonna head back to Raven Rock and prepare the men for further assaults.
Make ready your people.
Be careful. This General Carius sounds out of his mind.
Mirak's power is strong. It draws us in.
So the Shadeling has been drawn to Solstheim in an effort to eliminate Mirak, who he perceives as a threat not only to the pattern, but to Marl.
Observe.
So we've seen in a previous episode where there have been 2 attempts on Marl's life by cultists. And following the trail of the cultists, Shadeling has been led here. He has been looking for the source of these cultists. They are obviously unlike anything or anyone he has encountered in Skyrim. And, of course, what we know is that those cultists have a letter on them that indicates where they're coming from. And they specifically mention Mirak, they mention the Dragonborn, they mention a number of things that provide clues. So he's investigating. And as I said, his objectives are twofold. One, and the primary purpose, is to protect Marl, to eliminate a threat to Marl. Now, the assimilation, what does that mean exactly? Well, what it means is that Shadeling has made some adjustments in his own pattern so that he can simulate or emulate the Dragonborn. In other words, it's almost as if he took a copy-paste. He copied Marl's ethereal signature and overlaid it on top of his own. In a way, what that does is it helps to draw aggression toward him and away from Marl. And that would be aggression that would be targeted at Marl by those beings, entities, or creatures that are sensitive enough to be able to identify the pattern. So what we're starting to see now is there appears to be some nuance when it comes to who can see Aetherius, who can see the pattern, or who's directly linked to it. And Shadeling at this point is being extremely cautious. His assumption is that Mirac had to be drawn to Marl's becoming the Dragonborn by something. And right now, what he's thinking about is his own sensation of a wave across the pattern, a ripple across the pattern that alerted him to something big happening. And he was able to determine that it was Marl. He also knows that he is able to attract or to track Marl to some degree. And his concern is that Marl may have attracted the attention of an opponent who is also very capable of divining what's going on with the pattern or Aetherius in some manner. And so the arrival of Mirac represents a very, very different but, very real threat. Probably the worst threat that Marl could have encountered to this point. Bandits are one thing, right? But they can't track you through some ethereal means. So Shadeling has essentially disguised himself as Marl. Now, we don't see that. He still looks like Shadeling. But his ethereal signature, if you will, his signature on the pattern appears as though he were Marl or the Dragonborn. So he's making himself a lightning rod for Mirac's attention. And now he's following the power source, right? So the clues led him to Solstheim. But at least to start with, to a large degree here, he's going to be running on instinct and using what he knows of the pattern and the powers that he feels rippling across it to track down Mirac. So that's how I'm putting this together, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, it also does some other interesting things for me, technically, right? In order to even get into this Dragonborn content, you have to be the Dragonborn.
Now who then does he speak?
So, from a story perspective, what this does is it allows me to play Shadeling as a separate character, but still not have him not be the Dragonborn. He's actually, where the pattern is concerned, or where Aetherius is concerned, he's disguised as the Dragonborn. So, when people refer to him as such, we will understand why, okay? And it also gives us some indication that people who do address him as Dragonborn or identify him as a Dragonborn have some sensitivity to the pattern. All right, so what do we hear
That
here?
they have forgotten.
So foggy and atmospheric here. Look at that.
That we might remember.
I'm here to help you. You must leave.
Here we reclaim.
And look at this. I mean, this entire shrine, of course,
What faithless minds
is
stole.
a shrine to Hermaeus Mora. It has architectural features in it that are a direct reference
Far
to
from
Apocrypha,
ourselves.
which makes it almost feel like it is
Please, do not leave this place.
a cancer growing on the ethereal pattern of Mundus. So
You must leave this place.
something like this would stick out like a beacon.
Our
To Shadeling.
hands once were
Osla,
idle.
please. We must leave this place.
Now through them does he speak.
Isra, can you hear me?
And when the
You must leave this place. You there. What brings you to this place? Why are you here?
I seek Mirak. Who are you?
I am Freya of the Scar. I am here to either save my people or avenge them.
Save them from what?
I am unsure. Something has taken control of most of the people of Solstheim. It makes them forget themselves and work on these horrible creations that corrupt the stones, the very land itself. My father, Storn, our shaman, says Mirak has returned to Solstheim, but that is impossible.
Mirak is a threat to those we care about.
Then you and I both have reason to see what lies beneath us. Let us go. There is nothing more I can do here. The tree stone and my friends are beyond my help for now. We need to find a way into the temple below.
This is the way.
Over here!
Here we return.
Faithless mind.
You cannot escape Mirak's sight.
We'll try a tool that is perhaps a bit more targeted, eh? The shiv. You have been shivved. Okay, now with the arrival of these cultists, Shadeling knows that he is on the right track now. There is no question.
Far from our souls.
Traveling with Freya is going to be interesting. That is not something that Shadeling has experience with, really.
Are you ready to help me now? We should not delay. We should check these rooms for supplies before heading further into the temple.
Okay, as per usual, Shadeling will continue to take things that he thinks would be useful to Marl. Which is primarily some magic items, gold, gems, things of that nature. Doesn't take potions and only takes ingredients if he thinks that Marl might appreciate those ingredients for his research. So it'll be interesting traveling with Freya here because that is not something that Shadeling has done. So we're going to change things up a little bit here. I think we are not going to hotkey Frost Nova. I think we'll hotkey Ice Shiv. Frost Nova is... I mean, that's a huge area of effect spell, and it's not going to discriminate who it injures. The same is true for Frost Rune, but I feel like we've got a better chance of targeting Frost Rune. So I'm going to keep that. Let's see. Shadow Dance. We're going to set that up as our default power. Shadow Bond, I'll set that back to 2. I think that's pretty good. Maybe we can use Sleet Storm as our big guns if we get into
Take your time.
a
I
serious
shall
pickle.
follow you when you are ready. What the- What's that?
She's pretty effective. Set the trap off.
All maker, protect me!
All right, continuing on. So I think that
We must be careful in these ruins. Traps can be anywhere, and there will likely be many. Mirak was trying to take power and protect himself in the process.
the Shadeling has been, historically, what history there is, a solitary creature. But as he comes into his humanity, I think a natural progression that we're going to see is a desire on his part to associate with mortals more often, because of the sense
I do
it
not
gives him
wish
of
to imagine the kinds of things
feeling
that happen
human, you
in
know?
this chamber. Who would or souls trapped in these cages? What tortures did they? Impressive.
Acceleration rune scroll. That's pretty cool.
Where did you come from? I do not fear death.
All right.
Not escape Mirak's sight.
Come on up here. Keep going.
I do not.
I knew it.
I think we sent her into orbit. Okay, there was a second one over here that Freya took out. One of them just dropped out of the sarcophagus dead. Soul gems, we're going to keep those. Spell book, that could be good. now we're into the crypt. Let's lay one down here, just in case we get rushed. Got that, Freya, or what? You got him. One more whack
Gone
and he's
now,
done.
I suppose.
Okay, let's change it up a little bit.
What's that? Now we end.
Cyclonic Rift. Brilliant. Love it. Alright, I don't know if I exactly trust her to not set off traps, so I'm going to have to be careful here.
I will strike like a hawk.
Very good. Alright, let's have a look down here. This area here is kind of trap central, and just want to treat it with care. Oh, crap.
Is someone there? Now we end it.
Come forward. Come forward. I am out.
Do not.
I'm all
Come
out.
back and fight me.
I'm done. Okay, here we go. It's coming back now.
Nord.
There's a hit. Come on. Wait for that charge. It's rough.
We do not have any healing for you. We regret.
All right, that was pretty ugly. A lot of them converged all at once, but again, Cyclonic Rift did the job. As long as I can keep Freya behind me as well, I can protect her from these rune blasts. All right. I'm going to queue up Blink for travel. Cyclonic Rift.
I must not fail my people.
You are on the pressure plate, aren't you?
I'm not going down there. It would be foolish to attempt. You have a much better weapon.
2 blinks, and we're good to go.
Mirak took great pains to make it difficult to reach him, it seems. Let us hope that is the last of these traps.
Oh, I doubt that. Let's go this way. Watch it, Freya. Got one on our tail there. Just make sure we don't get flanked that way. I would prefer that. Come on, come and get it. Got one top of each ramp. Here. A lot of magic. Alright, let's not mess around with this guy.
Remember that you chose this path.
Nice. Coordinated blasts. Yes, I know. I'm out of magic. We're recharging. Okay, that was a little tricky because as a person who loves runes and uses them a lot, I know that those ramps and bridges and stuff like that, you can't put runes on them. I'm assuming that's because they're animated in the world. They don't qualify as a surface that you can put a rune on. So, in cases like that, I'm looking for other nearby areas, you know, walls and stuff that will allow me to still catch them up in my spell.
I do not know what it is Mirak
Tricky
learned that gave him
sometimes.
reason to turn on his masters. But his path seems to have been a cruel. I wonder if we will find some answers to what happened so long ago.
You got those, Freya.
Gone now, I suppose.
myself up here where I can see what's happening. That was interesting. So I put down a trap, dual cast Frost Rune, then 2 summon runes in there, then Ghost Walk in the position I wanted to be in. Went far enough down there to get them to move, went back to my position, summon rune, dropped 1 in the trap, and then he was then hit by his compadre's shout, which actually blew him into the wall. That was interesting. Hard to track what was happening there. It's all happening so fast. There's so many explosions and stuff.
This may be worth exploring.
Pushy. Wow, look at all this stuff.
I suspected there would be something down here. Do you know those spells already?
Mage Light? Yeah. Power of the Master. Oh, we better check that out. All right. Come on out here. Power of the Master. I don't know what that is. Let's see if we can tell. Casts the beneficial self-targeted spell in your left hand on all nearby summon or reanimated minions. Very cool. We'll definitely save that one for Marl. Oh. There's some cultists coming here. And we got Frost Cloak. And an Ice Ship. Let's make them fight themselves for a bit here. That worked out pretty well.
What was it? Victorious again.
Correct. Gotta love that ghost walk. Stalrim Sword of Launching. Anything of launching sounds good to me. All right. Yeah, I thought I had a rune equipped. I obviously did not. I had a shiv equipped.
How much deeper can this be? I had been told that Mirak's power was great, but to have built so large a temple, it cannot be much farther now. I feel it in my bones.
Well, I trust your bones. Okay.
I had heard Mirak had turned against the dragon cult. To display the remains of such humanity.
Let's play it
is
safe,
no
shall
wonder
we?
The dragons razed his temple to the ground. Seeing the remains hung up like trophies must have enraged them.
Let's
to no end.
absorb this power.
Something feels wrong. Brace yourself.
Used my icy Gatling gun. It came in handy.
The evil in this
Temple of Mirak key.
must be rooted out.
Okay. This is where things start getting a little weird. Can't get through there. Go up and over.
Dead end? Impossible. There must be something more. Look around. I will let you know if I find anything in the dining area.
Okay, so we're looking for a secret passage, probably. Is anything worth keeping in here? Not really.
I knew it. A secret passage in the dining area just opened up. This must be it. Let us move quickly.
Why? Why do we need to move quickly? I would much rather move carefully. Freya is definitely more capable than Shadeling is when it just comes to defense. Armor. She can take more shots than Shadeling could. One arrow from a Death Lord, and Shadeling would be done for, without question.
I wonder if there is something here that tells the story of Mirak. Nothing but ruined books. I do not recognize this statue. We passed by a few of them earlier, but they are becoming more frequent as we get further in. I do not like this place. It almost looks as if these statues will come to life at any moment.
It does indeed.
It looks like there is only one way to proceed. I leave the honor of pulling that handle to you. I do not want to put my hand anywhere near the mouth of that statue.
Soul gems.
It is eerily quiet.
Yes,
I
it
do not
just
suspect that will be the case the further we go.
gets deeper
Be
and
on your
deeper.
guard.
All right. Even though I've done this recently, I can't remember what is on the other side of this. We are going to equip a little cyclonic rift. Action. And down we go. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Hit that rift.
Is
Hit
someone
that
there?
rift. Oh, I got two. A 3, 4. Push him into it. Nicely done. All right. Well, it took a while. Some of them were just killed outright, but the ones that are tougher, the Death Lords and the Overlords, they can take the damage that the Cyclonic Rift dishes out. So that means they actually make it to the destination here. I kind of like that as a technique in a way. Casting the rift and then just charging forward with the other one prepped and ready to go. And then you put it in their faces. So, yeah, skeletons don't stand a chance with Cyclonic Rift, but the other creatures can sometimes endure it. Okay. Staff of Courage. Amulet of Talos. Dance and Fire. So, in my mind, I sort of envision Mirak as a being who has some similar capabilities to Shadeling in that he has some sense of Aetherius directly or the pattern. He's, you know, obviously been around a long time. So when thinking about who I was going to pit the Shadeling against, it made a lot of sense to me for a lot of different reasons.
There are dark This book. It seems wrong somehow. Here, yet not. It may be what we seek.
Can you stop walking into me, please? Yeah. Well, before we take any additional steps here, I just wanted to walk through real quickly my vision for this, right? The pattern consists of two distinct things. There are the lines that constitute the pattern, but just as important are the spaces in between, the negative spaces. And I sort of have this vision of the pattern being the lines drawn by Aetherius across the blank spaces of Oblivion. And in places like this, it almost feels like the pattern's been corrupted in a way. And that something dark has been injected into the light in a place where it's not supposed to be. So when Shadeling says he is going to repair the damage to Aetherius or fix the pattern, those are the kinds of things I think about conceptually, you know? All right, I suppose we ought to look at this book, eh?